Hey you, yes you, stop what you're doing. Take 10 minutes out of your day, shtage it up with the boys, listen to some Torah, absolutely free of charge. Let's get it.
Hey yo!
Welcome back.
What's poppin', y'all?
Hello.
It's your boys, Jeremy,
And Jake.
back for another edition of
The Beren.
Boys,
Bekius.
Beren, Boys, Bekius podcast, your favorite weekly Parsha, sports, Daf Yomi, Musar podcast. We got it all here for you guys.
We're here for
Take
you.
15 minutes out of your day, give us a listen to some Torah. Parshat Veyetze,
Let's do
Thanksgiving weekend, and without further ado, let's hop right in.
Let's do it. First Aliyah, we have Yaakov left Beersheba and heads towards Haran, to his uncle Lavan's house by instruction of his mother. During this journey, he falls asleep and has a dream and sees a ladder reaching up to the heavens with angels going up and angels going down.
Classic.
It's a classic story.
Right. So that's the end of the first Aliyah, obviously coming off of that dramatic story from last week's Parsha with Yaakov and Esav, moving more into the development of Yaakov's character.
Mm-hmm.
Second Aliyah of Parshat Veyetze. Yaakov arrives at a well that is located on the outskirts of Haran, and he sees Rachel struggling to move this big rock off the top of the well. This is obviously Lavan's younger daughter, and so when Yaakov sees this, he goes and by himself moves the rock off of the well.
It's yoked.
Man is getting gains out here and impressing the ladies, okay?
Definitely sore after that.
For sure.
Bro, his
Yeah.
arms.
Dude. Yeah, that was an arm day for him.
That was an arm day.
And so he pushes the rock off the well, gives water to everyone, and seeing this, Rachel's father Lavan offers Yaakov a job tending to his sheep.
Third Aliyah, we have Lavan has two daughters, Rachel and her older sister Leah. Yaakov is in love with Rachel and offers to serve Lavan for 7 years in exchange for her hand in marriage. It's a long time for a girl.
Yeah,
He's
dude. He's putting in that work. You gotta respect it.
However, when at the wedding, when they were about to marry, Lavan switches the daughters on him and has Leah marry Yaakov instead of Rachel.
Lavan pulls an old switcheroo, you know.
Switcheroo.
It's a classic. One of the oldest in the books.
Oldest in the book.
You know, when you think you're marrying
Switch
one
the
woman and you
wife
marry
on
the
it.
other one, you know, classic.
It's a classic. When Yaakov protests, Lavan offers to give Rachel 2 in exchange for another 7 years of service.
Golly.
Wow, this guy is
So he gets
getting
duped
bamboozled
into marrying one wife after working for 7 years. And then Lavan's like, yeah, you can have the other one for another 7 years.
Sheesh, bro.
Golly.
Sheesh.
You gotta imagine Mans was pretty upset.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fourth Aliyah. One pleasant spring day, Reuven is walking in the fields, the oldest of the brothers, and picks a jasmine flower from the field. He brings these flowers to Rachel and exchanges them for a night with Yaakov. He earns Leah some more Yaakov attention, gives Rachel the flowers that bring good luck, and scores Leah a night with her husband. So following this, Leah gives birth to another 2 sons and a daughter, and Rachel gives birth to a son who we know is Yosef. At that point, once they're born, Yaakov asks Lavan for permission to take his wives and children and return to Canaan and leave, but there is some trouble.
Ooh, fifth Aliyah, leaving that on a cliffhanger.
Yes, sir.
Before leaving, Lavan gives Yaakov some sheep, and those sheep give birth to many different striped offspring, and Yaakov soon becomes very wealthy. After an additional 6 years of service, just tying up loose ends, God commands Yaakov to return to the land of Canaan. Yaakov summons his wives, who agree that it's time to leave. So they start their
So he's been
journey.
working for, 20 years?
That is
at this
20
point?
years.
2 women, 20 years. I mean, that's some simp behavior.
Some
I don't know.
similarities.
Something's a little sus over
That's a
here. I don't know.
little
We have to have a
sus.
talk with Yaakov. I don't know. But I guess they were worth it, right? I mean, they must have been 2 very special gals. Okay, so 6th Aliyah in the Parsha. Yaakov seizes the opportunity when Lavan is away, takes his family, takes their belongings, and escapes. He leaves. But before leaving, Rachel takes one of Lavan's idols. Noticing this, Lavan chases after them and is on pursuit to find this group and track them down. One night before he reaches them, however, God appears to him in a dream and says, Lavan, you better not hurt Jacob or anyone in his family, otherwise there'll be some divine punishment coming your way, my boy.
Oof.
So Lavan reaches Yaakov and he protests and says that they stole his idols, but he searches them and turns up empty-handed.
Last Aliyah, seventh Aliyah, Lavan and Yaakov make a peace treaty and build a stone monument to seal this pact. Lavan returns to Haran, and Yaakov continues on his way towards Eretz Yisrael, Eretz Canaan.
Wow, so they escape. Lavan chases after them, but all in all, they are caught, but then make up, make a peace treaty, and everything ends well for Yaakov, Lavan, and Rachel.
Nice.
Okay, so now on to the next segment of the show, the Daf Yomi segment, talking to you guys about what's going on in this week's Daf Yomi. We entered Psachim this week. We move on from Eruvin into Psachim, laws about, Pesach, but, special times, different laws regarding this. We chose to talk about this cool story regarding, elegance of speech and how positive words can impact your legacy.
Very interesting. So first, we have a story about two Talmidim that are talking and having this conversation. The first one says, I've learned so much Torah already. I feel like a tired pig.
Wow, you have to learn a lot of Torah to feel like a tired pig.
That's a lot of Torah. I don't know how to quantify that exactly, but
right.
But he feels like a tired pig. The second one responds to him, I've learned so much Torah, I feel like a tired goat. Now, the rabbi comes to them and ignores the first one who said a tired pig, and instead has a long, meaningful conversation with the second one who said he felt like a tired goat. This teaches us the importance of using the correct language, and referring to yourself as a pig is disrespectful. You don't want to do that, but saying a goat is more elegant and better.
Right. So we have a second story in the Gemara backing this idea. Hillel is overseeing a conversation between these two Talmidim, and one says, why must we harvest grapes with tahara, with tahor kalim, but not olives with tahor kalim? And the second one says, okay, but why must we harvest grapes with tahor kalim, but olives with tuma kalim? See, he uses the negative word instead of the not positive word. And what happens? Hillel hears this conversation and says, the first one who used the non-negative term is going to be a posek for Am Yisrael for a long time. And who does it turn out to be? That turns out to be Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. So obviously from that we see positive words have an impact, and how you speak can lay heavy on your reputation.
Yeah, so two very interesting stories from Daf Yomi this week. All right, next section, we have the sports section.
Yes, sir.
Let's get into it. We'll have a little bit of NFL news, and then we'll get into
We got a whole lot of NBA news.
the free agency, NBA free agency.
If you're a sports fan, you know that things are buzzing right now in the league, so we got a lot to update you guys
We'll
on.
catch you up.
Okay, in the NFL, we got unfortunate news. Joe Burrow, rookie quarterback, tore his ACL and MCL. Tragic injury to the young stud. Hopefully he comes back healthy as ever.
The Steelers improved to 10-0 this week. Crazy. No one thought they'd get even remotely close to 10-0, but they're there.
They're balling out. And speaking of balling out, Taysom Hill, backup quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, replacing Drew Brees, came into the game and balled up. Stud performance for him this week. And now we're going to get into the NBA free agency news. We're going to go rapid fire style. We're going to hit you guys with a bunch of the news, just back to back, so you guys can be updated on all the moves that are being made in the league.
All right, let's do it. Fred VanVleet re-signs with the Raptors.
Gordon Hayward to the Hornets.
Bogdanovich to the Heat.
Christian Wood to the Rockets.
Joe Harris re-signs with the Nets.
Gallinari to the Hawks.
Dragic re-signs with the Heat.
Jeremy Grant to the Pistons.
Montrezl Harrell to the Lakers.
Marcus Morris to the Clippers.
Serge Ibaka to the Clippers.
Marc Gasol to the Lakers.
KCP re-signs with the Lakers.
Tristan Thompson to the Celtics.
Paul Millsap to Denver.
Jay Crowder to the Suns.
Derek Jones Jr. to Portland.
Rajon Rondo to the Hawks.
Melo re-signs with the Blazers.
Dwight Howard to the Sixers.
Austin Rivers to the Knicks.
Robin Lopez to the Jazz.
Myers Leonard to the Heat.
And Bismack Biyombo to the Hornets.
Whew!
Wow!
That's big.
Talk about some fire sports news coming at you. Back to back. That's how we like to hear it, Beren Boys Bekius, baby.
To back.
Right.
Yeah.
Rapid fire. Woo! That's the sports updates.
All right. Lastly, we have our Musar part, a little
The Dvar Torah from yours truly.
Dvar Torah from us at the end of our podcast.
You can use this at the Shabbos table, Thanksgiving table, wherever you're eating this week, whether it be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We got you loaded for this weekend.
We got you. Don't worry. The question is posed: why does the pasuk specifically say Vayetze Yaakov Beersheba? Why doesn't it say Vayelech?
Oh.
It seems very specific that he says, and he went out, instead of just that he went on his journey.
Right. So the difference here is the difference between just walking from someone and leaving something, right? The Torah is telling us by using the word Vayetze is that when a righteous person such as Yaakov leaves a place, their presence is lost as well. When someone so great resides in an area for so long, when they leave, it's not just Vayelech, it's not just them walking, but there's more than them that leaves. It's their aura, it's their spirit, it's the impact they've made on their community that leaves with them as well. And so how does this translate to us? Obviously, we're not like Yaakov, right? Those are figures in the Torah, and we're people today. But we can learn that it's so important for us to leave our impact wherever we go, so that when we leave, it's not just a Vayelech, but it's a Vayetze. That is, we're leaving the place. We're not just kind of merping around, going from place to place, but every place you go, you stop, take time to develop yourself, make an impact, whether it be your workplace, school, a trip, a vacation, a relationship, a camp, an interview, whatever it may be. Take time to make an impact and let your aura be felt, so that when you leave, it's not a Vayelech, but it's a Vayetze.
It's very important to find something you're passionate about and to leave an impact, like Jeremy said, to have Vayetze instead of just a Vayelech.
And with that, we'll see you next week. Peace.